Hello there. My name is Dana Yao, and I'm the Interim Executive Director of the Education Oversight Committee, or the EOC. In 2022, the EOC purchased access to the National Student Clearinghouse data for all high schools in the state of South Carolina. For the first time, we now have access to enrollment and graduation data from the nearly 3,600 colleges and universities that participate in the clearinghouse system. This includes any and all colleges and universities that accept private and federal aid. 97% of students enrolled in public and private institutions in the United States are accounted for. But it is important to remember that the data does not include post-secondary institutions that don't accept aid, such as most of the armed service academies. 98% of South Carolina 2-year and 4-year institutions are represented in the data. For a list of participating institutions, visit this link, which will also be included in the video description. Note that the data in these reports is based on the graduates from your high school, not the institutions they enroll in. The data only follows South Carolina students after they graduate from high school. Each report is specific to your school and follows the progression of your graduates from 2015 to 2022. It will not include students who participated in dual enrollment during high school. Students are not included in these data until after graduation from high school. There is also a state aggregate report, which is available on the EOC's website and will be linked in the video description as well. In 2022, the EOC and our partners at the Spartanburg Academic Movement did in-person and virtual data dives on the state clearinghouse reports. At these meetings, we walked through the state aggregate reports and allowed schools to see their own reports. At first, the reports can be daunting, and a bit of explanation can be helpful going in. I hope this brief summary will help you get started. So what do South Carolina high schools have access to? Thanks to our friends at the South Carolina Department of Education who have allowed us to send high school principals these files via the secure ADT system, South Carolina high schools now each have access to 3 reports and 1 comprehensive spreadsheet. The first report is labeled Aggregate Report. It is one of the most comprehensive reports available to you, which provides information on the percent of students in your graduation classes, 2015 to 2022, who enrolled in college, persisted in some form of post-secondary program, and ultimately completed a program. In this report, you will see the percentage of high school graduates who enrolled in a 2- or 4-year post-secondary institution in the fall semester immediately following graduation. The fall semester immediately following graduation is defined as any college enrollment that begins between August 15th through October 31st. The percentages are based on graduation year and include those high school graduates who have an active post-secondary enrollment between those dates. You will see the percent of students enrolled by institution type, public, private, or other, institutional level, 2- or 4-year, and institution location, in-state or out-of-state. In addition to the percentage of students enrolling in the first fall semester after graduation, there are reports that include enrollment anytime during the first year, within the first 2 years, and the percent of students who graduate from a 2- or 4-year institution within 6 years. The colorful bar graphs in and around the middle of your 45-page aggregate report are some of the most informative snapshots when looking at your students' post-secondary enrollment and progress. You will see graphs for the class of 2015 through the class of 2021, provided your school had a class graduating that school year. The percentage noted as not in NSC to date is the percentage of students by class who have not showed up in the National Student Clearinghouse data, meaning they have more than likely not enrolled in a post-secondary institution. And finally, one of the most popular pages in the aggregate report also comes toward the end of the PDF. Commonly referred to as the Top 25 report, this page includes a comprehensive list of the top 25 most frequently attended institutions during the first fall following high school graduation. This includes students from all classes from 2015 to 2022. Please keep in mind there is an appendix at the end of the report which provides detailed descriptions of the graphs and the data included in order of appearance in the report. The second report, which is included in PDF form, is the demographic report, which breaks down enrollment rates, persistence rates, and completion into a particular sector of the graduating class, using demographics like gender, race, ethnicity, disability status, English learners, and students from economic disadvantage. It is important to note that you will see some strange-looking graphs when the economic disadvantage data is presented. You may recall that the method for identifying pupils in poverty was recalculated in 2015-16, which is causing this issue. The data for pupils in poverty is accurately represented in 2017 and beyond. The National Student Clearinghouse Research Division publishes an occasional report called Some College, No Credential, which seeks to understand the educational trajectories of millions of U.S. adults who left post-secondary education without receiving a credential and are no longer enrolled. In the 2022 report, women outnumbered men in re-enrollment, credential earning, and perseverance, indicating continuous enrollment beyond first re-enrollment. The share of re-enrollees among minority women was substantially higher than men, 63.5% versus 34.6%. Do these national statistics hold up when you look at your school's data? When schools saw their demographics report last year, questions emerged, and most groups planned to return to their home schools to discuss what insights they could take from the data that might lead to action. The third report is the academics report. In this report, we have looked at the path that South Carolina's high school graduates have taken prior to graduation. For example, did dual enrollment during high school impact later enrollment into post-secondary? At the state level, students participating in dual enrollment in high school did enroll the fall after graduation at a higher rate. Also, the higher a student scored on SC Ready, math and English language arts in 8th grade, the more likely they enrolled in post-secondary the fall after graduation. The same holds true for Algebra 1 and English 1. Your school's academic report will show those data for your school's graduating classes. I encourage you to take a look and see if your school's data is consistent with the state's. And last but not least, the EOC is providing a detailed report spreadsheet, which includes all post-secondary term information that the Clearinghouse was able to return on each graduate from your school during the years covered, from 2015 through 2022. Each row in the student's record contains data for one completed post-secondary semester. Therefore, there are multiple records for each student. Now, what do these data mean for South Carolina high schools? In the past, South Carolina high school counselors were asked to query students about their intent to go to college, but weren't able to see if those students actually enrolled, let alone if the students graduated from their post-secondary institution with a degree. This disparity between intent and enrollment is sometimes referred to as summer melt. This data provides high schools with the unique ability to surface disparities in college enrollment and persistence amongst demographic groups or institution types. It's important to remember that these aren't new data being collected on South Carolina students. But now, South Carolina high schools have access to these data for the purposes of helping their students, even after they graduate. The EOC is working now to put the aggregate data on a public-facing dashboard for multiple stakeholders. There are questions we can answer and challenges we can tackle when provided with data which is accessible and secure. Please know that the EOC is happy to answer any questions you may have or further clarify any points. And please reach out to us with examples of how you're using the Clearinghouse data in your districts and schools. Thank you for what you do each day for the students in South Carolina.